Are you living in the past present or the future present? I'm going to explain what that means in a minute, but it really, really matters because wherever you're living is what you're creating. So if you want to create more of the same from the past, which I'm assuming you want to create something new, I'm assuming you're here to create a grand vision for the future. But if you continue to create from the past, you'll continue to get what the past has given you up until today. Whereas if you create from the future, that's what you're bringing in. So stay tuned. I will dive into this a bit deeper and explain how all of this works. As we dive into this, I want to remind you of a few truths to help you see how this unfolds, okay? So remember, we create our experience through thought. The outside world is simply reflecting back to us whatever it is that's going on in our mind, our consciousness. In both our conscious mind and our subconscious mind, whatever is in there is sending out energy and it's magnetizing back the events, circumstances, and conditions that are a match to it, that are in alignment with whatever it is that's in our mind, right? So our thoughts are creating things. Our thoughts also create our emotions. So every time we have a thought, we're going to have an emotion, which influences our actions, right? Because however we feel really heavily impacts what we're going to do, the action we're going to take, the choices that we make, the decisions that we make. If we're full of fear, we're not going to be really brave and take a calculated risk in our business or whatever it is. We're not going to do anything that feels unfamiliar and unsafe if we're full of fear already. Whereas if we're vibing high, full of confidence, we feel unstoppable, we're ready to go, we're ready to do whatever it takes to make our vision for our life and our business our reality, then we're more likely to jump headfirst into any discomfort, any fear, right? It depends how we feel. So how we think creates our reality, but it also creates our emotions. And our emotions become a state of being. They become a mood, right? And they're really going to heavily impact what we're willing to do that day, that week, that month, that year. So it's all really, really powerful. Our thinking is powerful. So the only problem is with all of this is that our brain is actually a record of the past memories, past experiences, past traumas, past, right? So up until this point, everything in our brain is a record of the past. It's just how it is. Okay. So it is the reality that you've lived up until this point. It's what you know, it's what's familiar. So as well as this, your subconscious mind accounts for 95% of your mind. And you have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, which is a lot, right? You've probably heard me say this before, but holy moly, that is a lot of thoughts that you are not aware of every single day. Now, we already know that thoughts create a reality and they affect how we feel. So 60 to 70,000 thoughts going, unmanaged, running around, like spouting around in your mind, being regurgitated all day long. It's no wonder we suddenly get in a mood from nowhere. We feel bad from nowhere. And we're creating a whole bunch of mixed results in our business and life because we don't know what these thoughts are. Our mind is literally just regurgitating on an automatic reel the same old stuff. And what's worse is the 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, 90% of them are the same thoughts you thought yesterday and the day before, right? So it's just repetitive. It's like a broken record. That's what my dad used to say when dance music came out. It sounds like a broken record. And that's what your mind is like with these old thoughts. Now, if you're not where you want to be, many of these thoughts are likely to be disempowering and limiting you in one way or another. So that's why this conversation is so important. And this is what I'm meaning when I'm saying, are you creating from the past? Because if you understand that your brain is a record of the past, you have all these thoughts, they're going round on repeat in your mind. They are creating your reality. They're creating your mood. They're creating how you feel. And they're all based on what you've experienced up until this point. Then you are just creating the past over and over again. You're creating what you know. There's definitely no room for magic and potentiality. There's really just room for a little bit more than what you know, possibly, right? But if you're feeling stuck, you know why. It's because your brain is regurgitating the same stuff over and over, and you're reliving the same experience over and over and over again, and the cycle needs to be broken. So we also know that what you focus on expands. So wherever your attention goes, energy flows, wanted or unwanted, irrespective of whether you deem it to be good or bad. Remember, in the universe, nothing's good or bad. It just is. Everything just is. but you will have an idea about whether it feels bad to you or feels good to you. But whatever it is that you focus on is what you're going to expand, is what you're going to draw back to you. And if you want to create a future that looks nothing like your current reality, nothing like your present results, something that's going to elevate you and break you through and quantum leap you into a new existence, a new dimension, a completely new experience, completely new lifestyle, completely new way of living, it's impossible to attract that into your life if you're continuing to create from the past thinking, from those past thoughts. So we have to interrupt this pattern. We have to break this living on autopilot, which I've talked about for the last few episodes now, because it's so important. I've kind of ended up doing a bit of a series about this, but it's so important that we become aware of what's going on in our mind and we break this pattern, because otherwise we will feel powerless and hopeless and like a victim to our life for the rest of our life until we change what it is that's going on in there so that we can change what is going on outside of us too. So this is where our imagination comes in. Our imagination is a super tool, okay? It is one of your biggest tools in your toolbox. Most of us stop tapping into this powerful force when we're kids, when we're told to stop looking out the window and daydreaming in class, when we're told that we're just being unrealistic, that we're told that we're just a daydreamer. If our dreams were really, really big and really crazy, and it was our parents, our teachers, society's way of trying to minimize the disappointment we might feel, trying to make us just expect mediocrity. And it's not their fault. This is just the way we've been conditioned as a society because no one really understood how to use the power of the mind and law of attraction to create a limitless life. So that's all good. But we're basically told to rein it in, be realistic. Let's just try and create a normal life. So our imagination is like a muscle and it needs to be used to be strong. And it actually withers away with disuse, like muscles going to the gym. You have to keep exercising to keep the muscles strong. So we want to tap into this imagination, this creative force. This is our force of creation. This is what we've been given in our minds to create our life with, because we can't go beyond our current circumstances if we can't see beyond them. Now, how do we see beyond them? By using our imagination. Otherwise, how could you possibly see beyond them? Because there is nothing beyond them, right? This is all we've got. So we need to tap into our imagination. And we need to create new ideas, new thoughts, new beliefs. And we do this by looking around. You can look around at anyone who's got the things that you want, who's living the life that you want, who has the business you want, who has the qualities you want, the characteristics you want, who are presenting themselves in the way that you want, whatever it is, what you want, from looking at who you look at, what it is that you want to create. So we tap into our imagination and we create in our imagination first. Everything starts with a thought, remember? Right at the beginning of this, thoughts become things. So we're using our imagination to change those thought patterns, to start tapping in to new thoughts. And then we want to take it a step further by imprinting these new thoughts on our minds, on our subconscious mind specifically. And we do that by creating memories, future memories. This is how we start transitioning into creating a future present, a present that is based on our future, not on our past. So the brain has something else to work with, because remember, it's only the record of the past. So it needs something new. It needs something else in this database of information that is in there. So we create new memories, future memories. We imprint them on our subconscious mind over and over and over again. Remember, the brain doesn't know the difference between vividly imagined and reality. So it accepts them. If we are feeling into it, if it feels real, then it accepts them as truth. So we have to get our subconscious mind on board with us. You would have listened to a few previous episodes or videos if you're on YouTube, where I've been talking a lot about the subconscious mind. So make sure you go and listen or watch the one that I did about your subconscious mind being the source of all your problems and the source of all your solutions, because that's going to really, really help you with this as well. So we need the subconscious mind on board. And this is where we have to bring our focused attention in as well. So we're planting these new memories, but we also want our focus to be going on what that we want. So we're streaming focus on what it is that we're creating, not on what's happened in the past and why we can't create what we want to create. We don't want it going there. And so I'm sure you've had times in your life where this has become really easy. You decided to have a baby. We get obsessive and we start researching about becoming a mother, about having a child, what you do, nurseries, it's all very exciting. It's all consuming. You get married, it's the same thing. You're obsessively thinking about it on Pinterest, looking at all the different decor ideas, what we're going to wear, the bridesmaids, the venue, the this, the that, the food, all of it. We are obsessive. And it's just filling our minds with all of these thoughts of what it's going to look like, how it's going to be. We are experiencing it in every one of those decisions that we make. We're imagining ourselves being there, right? We're using our imagination. We're actually using visualization without realizing we're doing it. And we're creating that experience before we've even got there. It's like if you want to buy a new car, it's the same thing. You start looking at these new cars, you go to the showroom and you test drive one, and then you just start seeing them everywhere as well because you're thinking about them, because your Raz has picked up that it's important to you. So it is now filtering reality to show you more of the thing that's important to you. So you're seeing them everywhere. So this is how we're using our conscious, focused attention and our subconscious to create the reality that we want. So we can start creating a future present rather than a past present. So we don't want to just be doing this when we're getting married, when we're having a baby, when we're buying a car. We want to be doing this all the time, deliberately and consciously and intentionally, to create the reality and the business that we want. But what usually happens is that when we choose the reality that we want, when we're looking at something bigger than the wedding, the baby, the car, and we are focusing on a vision that is way beyond anything we've ever experienced before, way beyond anything that any of our friends or family have ever experienced before, we are met with a myriad of limitations, of beliefs, of stories, of failures, of reasons why we can't, right? We are met with the whole subconscious paradigm kicking up saying this life is not for you. Sure, you can go get married. Sure, you can go and have that baby, but you're going to try and create all of this massive life that is nothing like what you have right now and what you're used to. No chance. You can't do it. It's not for you. It feels so unfamiliar. It feels so grand. It feels so unbelievable, right? And this is the work. This is the work that we need to do. This is the clearing work. We need to clear all of the crap out so that we can make space to be bringing that vision in. We need to recognize it all for what it is. It's just limiting programming. And we want to be replacing it and changing the stories, changing the beliefs, changing the idea of who we think we really are and seeing ourselves as the version of us that can actually achieve it. And more than that, that bloody deserves it. Because we are worthy, we are deserving of anything that we want in our lives. So that is the only thing that's going to get in between you creating your future present and actually bringing it in, is the beliefs, the attachments, the past, the stories, the memories, all of these things from the past. So this is where, the battle usually entails. This is where it normally starts. And this is where most people give up and stop because they believe the lies. They believe the lies their paradigm is telling them. They believe the lies their subconscious has got stored. But it's not the truth. It might feel real, but it's not real. So we need to conjure up images, ideas, beliefs, thoughts, scenarios, events, circumstances, conversations. We need to conjure up so much that is bigger than where we are now. We need to train our mind into seeing it, to believing it, to feeling it. We need to train our body into feeling that this could be our new normal. We need to normalize the feeling of wealth and abundance and success in our body, in our energy field, so that it can become normal. This is alignment. This is raising our vibration. This is raising our frequency so that the fear isn't going to kick up because it doesn't feel like it's something we should have. We're not going to self-sabotage it when we get it because it feels unsafe. So we need to dream greater than where we are right now. And I'm just going to summarize all of this with my own examples. So you will have probably heard me talk about when my business started failing and we almost lost it and the sales were declining rapidly every month. And we got so emotionally involved. We got so stuck with that being our reality. And we just kept feeding it with our emotion, with our thoughts. It was everything. That was where our focus was. We were like, shit, we are losing this business. Like everything's so bad. That was our conversation. It's so bad. It's so bad. What's happening? How are we suddenly here? What's going on? And we were trying to firefight with the problem. We were getting into the weeds of the problem and we were living in the problem. And after a few months, we weren't paid for 6 months. And after a few months of this, suddenly we realized that we had to put our focus somewhere else. We had to go beyond our circumstances, our conditions, and the results that we were getting right now, we had to elevate ourselves way beyond that and start creating something new if we didn't want to go completely under, because it was just getting worse and worse. So we were creating from the past present, right? Because we would just, as soon as it started happening, instead of trying to elevate ourselves beyond and go to our vision or create a vision, because we hadn't even created a vision at this point, then we were just regurgitating the same thing over and over, and we were stuck in that loop. We were stuck in that cycle of decline, going down and down and down and down. So when we stopped and we created the vision and what felt like an impossible goal of £1 million sales in a 12-month period, we made that our vision. We focused there. We became aware with our beliefs, what they were. We upgraded our self-image, our self-concept, who we thought we were. We didn't entertain the negative, disempowering stories. We recognized when we were thinking from past limited thinking. We'd never done £1 million in a year before. Were we going to listen to those stories? No. Were we willing to listen to the memories? Anything telling us that we couldn't do it? Anything telling us it wasn't possible? No. We put all our focus on our vision. We had to get emotionally involved with the idea of where we were going instead of allowing ourselves to get dragged down by where we were and the fear and the doubt and the limitation. So we had to go beyond. We had to elevate ourselves. We had to change how we saw ourselves. We had to change our perception of what was happening. We had to basically disillusion ourselves to a degree, not to a dangerous point, but to the degree of this is no longer happening. This is just a record of the past now. This is happening up here. Our vision is happening. It's just going to take a little bit of time for us to see it in our 3D. And that's what we had to do. That is an example of how to stop creating from your past and move to creating your present future. So I hope that was helpful. It's always helpful when we have an example, isn't it? Otherwise, it just sounds like theory. It's just more information. But we want to be able to relate all of these things to our business and our life and actually see from our perspective of where we are right now. How does this relate to me? How does this relate to my life? How can I use this in my business? How can I use this in my life? So if you're stuck right now, just know that you're stuck in limited thinking patterns. If you're stuck, know that you are creating from the past. And all you need to do is switch that to creating from the future, your future reality. So you have this power. You have this power right now to change it, okay? You're just emotionally involved with the wrong idea and you're pouring consciousness into the wrong idea. And all you need to do is switch that up. Start pouring consciousness into the vision. Get emotionally involved with the vision. Know it's done. Know it's here. And before long, it will be here. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Please give me a like if you've liked it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you can be among the first to hear as soon as new content drops. And I'm regularly dropping content every single week for you to help you harness the power of your mind and leverage law of attraction so you can create the business and life that you want. And if you want to go deeper, I do have a free online masterclass that you can register for right now. Just click the link in the description, in the show notes, and it will help you learn how to break through any income and business goal in 3 simple but powerful steps. So make sure you sign up for that training, and I will see you again in the next episode. Take care.